Here's verse 13 of the 6th chapter of the Gospel of John. We're in the midst of John's report of the feeding of the 5,000. We've just learned that Jesus instructed the disciples to gather up the remaining fragments, and we learned that there were 12 baskets of remaining fragments that were available after the miracle had been performed. Jesus specifically makes the point that these should be gathered up so that nothing will be lost, showing that even in the abundance of the creative act, there's still a sense of economy about it. Interesting detail included here by John. And so in obedience to the command of Christ, we have verse 13. Sunegagon. This is from sunago. It means I gather together. This is the third person plural. Second aorist, active indicative. So they gathered up, or they gathered together. Un, therefore, the adverb, indeclinable. Kai, even, or also, or and it could be. And then agemesen. This is from gemidzo. The word means I fill up. This happens to be the third person plural, aorist, active indicative. And so the idea is they gathered together and they filled up, the aorist here, dodeca, the number for 12, kophinous. Kophinous, this is from the noun kophinos. It means a small basket, really, not a large basket, but just a small one, the kind that people might carry along with them if they were going on a journey. This is the accusative, plural, masculine of this noun. Klosmaton. We saw this word in the previous verse. Klosma means a bit or a piece or a fragment. And so 12 baskets in the genitive now of fragments. Ek, out of, takes the genitive. Ton, the article in the genitive. Penta, out of the 5, arton. This, of course, is the word for bread, artos. This is the plural genitive. So of the 5 breads or of the 5 loaves. Ton, in apposition now, krithinon, the barley. So of the 5 loaves, the barley ones is the idea. The relative pronoun ha, the neuter of this, which, eperesusen. This is from perisuo, we saw it earlier. It again means to fill up. This is the third person plural, aorist active indicative, which filled up, with reference to tois, the dative, plural, bebrokusen. This is from bibroksko, which means I eat. It's less common than the word phago, which we otherwise find in the New Testament. This happens to be the perfect active participle, so it's the fragments that filled up those who had eaten. They had eaten, and the perfect tense here suggests that they remained satisfied. They had eaten and continued to be in a state of having eaten. So we're somewhat surprised at this, but of course it's part of the whole story. They gathered together these fragments amounting to 12 small baskets of leftovers from the 5 original that were mentioned earlier in this story. The number 12, of course, is one that we notice in passing. Some have tried to tie this to the 12 tribes of Israel, and maybe distantly that's the case, but it's more natural to simply assume that the 12 baskets were connected to the 12 disciples who were involved in this particular enterprise, and I think to go beyond that engages in a bit of speculation. But the point here is that there was plenty to go around, and there was plenty that was left over at the end of the day.